Hello and welcome to the 2025 Carroll County 4-H and FFA Fair. My name is Sam Chamberlain and I'm a former 4-H'er, a 4-H parent, a 4-H volunteer, and a 4-H leader, and we are so glad you've joined us for the 2025 Market Sheep Show. Our sheep here at the county fair might be the most popular exhibit we have. We all enjoy watching the little kids run by and stick their hands in and want to scratch all the lambs on the head. They're wonderful animals and even better kids to boot. But today is not about being cute. Today is about a real competition, about producing good lamb for our community, and today we're going to be sorting that out. We're going to begin with our showmanship class, where we're going to be judging our exhibitors and how they exhibit the animal. Later on, we're going to be moving to our market class, where we're evaluating the animals and finding out which one is indeed the grand champion here at the fair. We're so glad you've joined us, and we look forward to bringing this fair to you. Over the course of the night, we're going to be bringing you some interviews. We'll be offering some reflections as well and a little commentary, and we hope you enjoy that a great deal. If you want to be a part of that, please feel free to engage with us on our socials. Please leave us comments or questions that you may have, and throughout the course of the night, we'll see what we can do to bring you that information. But we look forward to sharing this show with you. We hope you sit back and enjoy the Market Lamb Show. Thank you, guys.
Okay, good evening everyone, and welcome to our 2025 fitting and showing this evening. We're going to get ready to get started here at this time. If I could have Colleen Haynes and Madeline Kemp come ringside. Our first class will be our age 18 group, and this is our two individuals. This is their last year of showing lambs at the Carroll County 4-H Fair. So let's bring them in. The following group, make your way ringside. This would be our age 17 group. Elizabeth Burns, Alyssa Costa, Riley Dell, Estella Gover, Marie McCullough, and Kylie Medlin. Please make your way ringside.
Congratulations to our next year's seniors. The committee does have a gift for you. We can hang around ladies just for a second. Madam, the first place in our age 18 group went to Madeline Kemp. Second place to Colleen Haynes. We were following in the program, we were 2 and 1. And the last year's senior awards were sponsored by Dr. Graves and Lynn Tower. At this time, we'll bring our age 17 seniors into the ring. We have 6 entries. Elizabeth Burns, Alyssa Osler, Ryan Dell, Estelle Gover, Marie McCullough, and Kylie Nedley. Age 16, senior showman. Make your way ringside. Eli Harper, Jacob Warren, Avery O'Meara, Beverly Selby, Olivia Miller, and Lexi Sepp. Please make your way ringside.
very nice job. These young ladies are working hard, and you know, I think the presentation in these first three are really good. I told the young lady that stands third, you know, she's kind of got one of those grasshoppers, and she has to really work hard to kind of keep that thing collected up. Now, with that being said, when that sheep does cooperate, she gets a really good brace out of that sheep. That sheep handles really nice. And I think sometimes when they're on the edge like that, it's a good thing, but we get into showmanship, she's kind of wanting to climb all over you. That just makes it a little bit tougher to deal with. The young lady here in fourth, and I know I told her when we showed sheep, we called them turtles. And, you know, she wants to roll back into her shoulder and just duck away from you. That's just something that just takes a lot of work at home. And we talked about maybe being a little looser in her hands, just a little easier. And we got to be real careful when we climb into them. But that is a hard sheep to show. And, you know, oftentimes we kind of thought it really boiled down to kind of a genetic thing because we tried to avoid those when we were picking them out. Young lady here with our big weather on the end, we just want to position her a little bit more up to the front. And again, that's a pretty nice sheep. He doesn't give us a real good handle when we get our hands on him because he's just not really trained yet to do that. But that's a sheep that's built very nice. Let's focus on the first two. And I'm going to tell you this right now. Because you won this class does not necessarily mean that you're going to win showmanship in the senior division. Okay, so we have two of you. I think, is that fair to do? We're going to have you two come back out here. In this quick go-around, you're going to be first and you're going to be second. And I think both of you do an excellent job when you get your sheep stopped. You get them stopped and propped up, the presentation, getting their neck up out of their shoulder. You know, I think, again, we have a bit of an advantage of the weather up front because he's built better. He runs uphill a little bit better, and so it's a little easier to keep him collected out of his front end. You both do a very nice job, and when we get your hands on them, the way you get these sheep prepared to be handled, so that's really good. I think the other thing, and I told the young lady here in second, and it's not necessarily her fault because she's got a sheep that kind of runs downhill, and when we put him on the walk, she looks a little pouty out here. I like for her to be proud and kind of get her head up just a little bit more, and so again, if we could elevate her head a little bit more, she walks, but I know that that's not easy because that sheep's not built to be that way. You're just as good as her other than that in terms of your presentation and getting one put together. So things might change here in a few minutes when we redo it. I just want you all to understand, and moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas understand what we're doing. We're going to have these two young ladies come back for the overall, all five of you, excellent job. Let's give them a nice hand. Great way to get going here in our senior division.
Congratulations to our showman age 17. Results of our age 17 class. First place to Alyssa Costa. Second, Estella Gover. Third, Kylie Medlin. Fourth, Riley Dell. And fifth, Elizabeth Burns. Down your program, you'll go 5, 1, 4, 2, scratch, and 3. You're missing 2, Brad. Yeah, I show 6. It is? Oh, my mistake. They're 15. I'm sorry. Bring them back. 2 young ladies that just entered the ring. Please come back to the door, please. You're 15. My mistake. I flipped the page and I still thought it was 16. My mistake. All right, this is our age 16 group. We have 4 entries. We have Eli Barber, Jacob Braun, Avery O'Meara, and Beverly Selby. When
All right, nice job. And you know, this is the species where, and a lot of you that've shown sheep, you get it. We'll do some tomorrow too, and the goats, where if they cooperate, it's pretty easy work. But if they don't, you ask these two young ladies here how hard it is. You know, it is a lot of work, and we just gotta. It takes a lot of time at home, a lot of special, you know, again, lots of hours, lots of special work to get these things kind of adapted to what they need to do. The young man's had the best luck out here by far. He comes in here, and when you're, and I kind of mentioned it to several of you here in the last couple, 3 classes. As we have these sheep on the lead, we want to make sure to give them their head. Okay? They want to be ahead of you. They're not going to follow you like a horse or a cow, so give them their head. We want to make sure your hand is up towards the front of the jaw. Don't grab them back here by the back side of the jaw. There's a pretty good chance we can kind of get them choked down a little bit. So better control, too, I think, when you have up closer to the muzzle, and that some young man does a very good job with that. I like it too when you notice when he came in here, his free hand, you know, he's got it off the side. I don't think in his case, and the young man's whether we have here in second, they walk good enough. We don't need that spare hand on the backside of their head, okay? I think we can do everything with one hand. So, again, nice job. He was the quickest to get things kind of put together and presented out here. We probably can get more out of that sheep on a brace, so get probably a little quicker, get ready for it. But done a really nice hands-on job, I think, in getting him put together. And the young man here in second, I'm going to say pretty much like him, just not quite as quick and not quite as far along in terms of your job out here, quite as quickly getting it done as he did out here in Showmanship. But again, you worked really well with that weather. He works well with you, however you want to look at it. You had good response for him. Told the young lady we got another one that just kind of wants to back out of it, and she's one of those showmen that you're really long-legged. We talked about this, and it takes a bit more of an athletic approach. We need to lower your body a bit more to get under it, but don't try to stay hunched down quite as much. And I told both, really all 3 of them, but particularly her, I'd like for her to move around a little bit more to the front instead of off the side when we get them propped up and presented out here. The weather that we have completing the class, I told that young lady he's got a nice handle to him. He's a little hard to get stopped and put together. That's the biggest thing, is getting a little more cooperation out of the animal. But by golly, she's worked really hard. And of course, getting away, that's kind of a major no-no in showmanship, but I know we've shown enough sheep. I know how ornery they can be. So, again, congratulations. Give them all a nice hand, and especially our class winner out here. Job well done.
Results of our senior age 16 class. First place, Eli Barber. Second, Jacob Braun. Third, Beverly Selby. And fourth, Avery O'Meara. Down your program, it goes 1, 2, 4, and 3. At this time, we have our senior class of age 15. We have 2 entries. We have Olivia Miller and Lexi Zepp. Age 14, senior showman, class 5 only. Need the following people to make their way ringside: Abby Kane, Charlotte Chamberlain, Clara Collins, Isabel Corbin, and Michaela Durr. Please make your way ringside.
All right, nice job by our young ladies. I think the one thing we recognized pretty quickly, both sheep are broke really pretty good, and they've handled them very well out here, especially put them on the walk. I think they've had good success. I do like, once again, I'd say what we have here in our young lady, when she puts this weather on the go, she keeps her free hand kind of off to her side. I like that. Got on her just a little bit about, getting the neck right up out of his blade. He's not built perfect out of his front end, but you got her done now. I mean, that's what we want right here. Make that thing look proud out here and lengthen his neck out because he kind of needs it. So she does a great job on the walk. She does an excellent job when you go in to handle that sheep and the presentation. So very, very nice. And just quicker today. That's kind of the difference. I see a young lady that's very calm and relaxed and doesn't get in a real big hurry here in second with this weather. She's got them broke well. Again, probably doesn't get there quite as quickly as she does with this weather here in terms of the presentation. I'd like for you to get just a little bit more push out of him. So the disadvantage, and this has never been my problem of being tall, but the disadvantage when you're tall is you're going to have to lower your body a bit more and give it just a little bit more to work with, okay? And so that's something that you tall people have a problem with. Us short people never do. So good job by both of you. Let's give them a nice hand. These young ladies are excellent out here in showmanship.
Results of our senior showman age 15. First place, Olivia Miller. Second place, Lexi Zepp. Down your program, it goes 1, 2.
Oh, he's
We have 5 entries in this class. Our second group of age 14 senior showman, class 6. Make your way ringside. That would be Leah Fritz, Jacob Frock, Lane Huff, and Lillian Selby. Those 4 individuals make your way ringside.
All right. Again, we just had a little more luck here with this ewe lamb on the top end. Our showman just quicker to get her put together, and she's starting to make me sound a little foolish right now. She's fighting her, but as we got them out here on the profile, I think really the best job in feet and legs, getting her neck up out of her shoulder right. We go in to handle them. I think she's a little more prepared than the other sheep were out here in the lineup. And then after that, every one of these showmen had good moments out here, and then we had some little things we wanted to switch up on them. And I think for the most part, as we went along, this ewe got a little more comfortable out here in the ring. I like your hand placement and keeping her neck up out of her shoulder. I thought it was a little more right, at least the way I prefer it, than maybe some of the other competitors here in the group. She could be a little quicker to get set up, and I think what we find in really the next 4 sheep is to get a little better push out of them when we go in to handle them, so they brace up and handle just a little bit nicer. But I thought this young lady worked a little longer here in showmanship. She kind of worked her way up. Really, the next 2 others were just a bit of a handful to get shown. You know, they kind of bounce around. It makes it hard to get them presented out here. Once they did, they looked pretty good. It's just a matter of getting a little more response out of them. This young lady's done a very good job, and I take a couple just little things. And the first thing we talked about when I walked down the front, we want to get you just a little more prepared, a little quicker. That sheep got a good touch to him, though. I think you probably got as nice a brace out of him as any of the other 4s we have out here. So things are working good. We just got to get a little quicker on getting things done. Congratulations, another nice class winner here. We'll have a good senior lineup here in just a second.
Hello, we're here at the Showmanship class, and if this is your first Showmanship class, maybe you're wondering what's going on. So we brought in an expert to tell us a little bit about that. I'd like to introduce you to Taryn Runshaw, who is the 2024 Carroll County 4-H and FFA Fair Grand Champion Market Showman. So Taryn, tell us a little bit about yourself and your project.
Yeah, so I'm Taryn Runshaw. I am 16 years old, and I am part of the Tararooba 4-H Club. I've been showing sheep now for about 7 or 8 years.
So what are some of the basics of showmanship? When you're doing this, what is a judge looking for? How do you get yourself ready? And what are some of the key things that we can be looking for?
So in sheep showmanship, the judge is highly looking for what I call a cookie. Is you're on one side of your lamb, the judge is between you and, or the lamb is between you and the judge. You always want to make sure that the judge gets a good view of that lamb and that you're showing everything that the judge wants to see. Also with that, being prepared, making sure your animals are clean, they're fit, making sure you're dressed, you're fit, you're clean, and that you're ready, you're watching the classes before you, and that you know what's going on.
Fourth, Clara Collins.
So one of the things we watch our exhibitors doing is they all seem to be scrunched down and they're really snuggled up against the front of those lambs. What is that and why is it important?
Yeah, so another thing with showmanship is also getting a really good brace or a really good drive out of that lamb. With that being said, you see these showmen behind me, they're getting down low, they're pushing against those lambs, and that's making all the muscles in their body pop. You see all the muscles, and that gives a really good feel of the market animal.
You got it from an expert, folks. Thank you so much, Taryn, for coming and chatting with us.
Exhibitors.
right. Young lady, we were just talking about this sheep gives her a really nice push, a nice brace, and I just want her to be a little softer in her hands. We're talking about the perception that one might have when you got your hands gripped up around their neck and it's like, oh my God, we're going to choke that sheep down. So open up your hands a little bit more, be a little softer with your hands. As she works into you really hard, just send her down gently, okay, and don't wrestle her quite so much. You're lucky because that sheep's got a nice brace, and accordingly, then she gives you a good handle. So, told the young man here that winds up in second, another one of those, the kind that just want to back out of him, and so we got to get that sheep stopped, propped up, put together, and then he gently just has to work himself up underneath her. And I think once he figures that out, he's built to be a good sheep showman. Us guys are low to the ground with big thighs. We can get her done. So, okay, we just got to get that sheep where she kind of understands that and works up into you and not away from you. Young man here in third, I think you're at one of them growing stages. You got big feet. You know, and we talked about you got to be athletic to show, and you're kind of tripping over your sheep and tripping over your feet. And so, again, just be a little more relaxed out here. Make it look easy, and I know how hard a work it is. In fact, I'm terrible at showing sheep. I must admit that, and it's because you got to be kind of graceful out here. But you do a nice job. We got a good push out of that sheep. So the bracing part, I think he's kind of got that figured out. Just some little things that we want to make it look just a little easier for you out here. I told the young lady with the ewe lamb does an exceptionally good job when we put this sheep on the walk out here. You guys work together really good. You know, she bounces around a little too much on you when we get her head to tail, and obviously we wasn't able to get a real good handle on her, but I think on the lead, you're as good as any out here in the group. So congratulations, keep up the good work.
Results of Class 6, Senior Showman, age 14. First place, Leah Fritz. Second, Lane Huff. Third, Jacob Frock. And fourth, Lillian Selby. Down your program, it goes 1, 3, 2, and 4. At this time, we're going to pick our champion, Senior Showman. We're going to be bringing in our first place and second place winners out of our 6 classes. While they're entering the ring, I've also been asked to make an announcement from the Sheep Committee. If you'll please pay attention to what I'm announcing here. Due to biosecurity, I've been asked to tell all exhibitors it is not necessary to shake the judge's hand. With him handling multiple sheep and then trying to shake everyone's hands, they feel it is in the best interest that we avoid shaking hands with the judge. And if you have an interest to speak with the judge after the show, he will be available over here by the picture area, or you can meet up with him in the ring once the show is complete. So the Sheep Committee has asked me to make that announcement. Due to biosecurity, it is not necessary to shake the judge's hands at this time throughout the show. Now in the ring we have our first and second place winners. Out of Class 1 we have Madeline Kemp and Colleen Haynes. Out of Class 2 we have Alyssa Costa and Estella Gover. Out of Class 3, we have Eli Barber and Jacob Braun. Out of Class 4, we have Olivia Miller and Lexi Zepp. Out of Class 5, we have Charlotte Chamberlain and Michaela Dell. And out of Class 6, we have Leah Fritz and Lane Huff. Once we pick our senior showman champion, we will then pick our reserve senior showman.
All right. Really a nice job in our seniors. And like I had mentioned earlier, in fact, I think in their class, new game when we come back out here, and so I don't need them in any particular order. I think the big thing was I wanted to get several of these back out here and see how they performed, and I think these three in particular do it at a very, very high level. The young lady here, I've told her, I said, just the improvement from last class to this class is amazing. In fact, there's 3 or 4 of them out here that I thought did a much better job out here in the second go-round. I think we're maybe kind of starting to get the sheep a little worn out, and they're behaving a little bit better, but several of them I think have done very well. These 3 in class and out here, I think just exceptional. So, and I'm just going to share with you a couple of things here, my thoughts of these 3, just these 3, because they're the ones that are kind of running off for the championship. This young lady here with this big weather, really good. I told her I was a little disappointed, and I think she knows it. I went in to handle him, and it's just like she just kind of let go of him. Now, you didn't let go, but you got out of him. And I said, when he's a little chubby like that, and that happens, then he kind of feels like a marshmallow. So I wish she would have kept her intensity up as I went in to handle that sheep. Nice job. One time I told her in class early on, let's get that Weather's neck pulled out of his shoulder. She's always gotten that done out here ever since then. So I love the job she does in terms of presentation. The Weather maybe doesn't have quite as much endurance. He gets to dancing just a little on his hind leg, but I think she's an outstanding sheep showman. Young lady here with this ewe lamb, I told her, again, it's not her fault. It's hard to show one that runs downhill and is low-fronted like that, and she's done the best job she has. Always spot on. I tell you what, I go in to handle that sheep. She's got it ready for me. She, for the most part, does everything she can to make that sheep look her very best. She's a very relaxed showman. I think one of the things I've noticed about the first 2 in particular, as times have gotten a little longer out here and the sheep have gotten a little more difficult to work with, they didn't get in kind of a panic mode. I think both of you relaxed and kept very, very calm out here. But that's particularly true of the young lady that has a ewe out here. Just a very relaxed, methodical showman is what I would call you. Everything's thought out and done very well. The young lady here with the Weather, again, that sheep, he gives us a really nice look. As he's gotten a little tired out here, he's starting to kind of stretch out. He doesn't keep his front legs gathered up like he needs to, and so be aware of that. And then I kind of sense, too, where I told you this, you're just getting in a little bit of a panic mode. And the thing about it is, it doesn't have to happen this split second, so just kind of take your time. I thought in class, when he was fresh and feeling good, you guys made a really good team. I still think you're a great showman, and you're fortunate because you got a good sheep that's built right to be a good show sheep. So nice job by all. As the game plays on, the young lady with the ewe lamb, you've been pretty special out here. Let's give her a nice hand. She's going to be our champion senior. Congratulations. Her classmate right behind her, you're going to end up reserved. Like I said, I did that class pretty quick. I want to get you 2 back out here and play longer, and both of you, I think, are exceptional at your craft. You're going to be a reserve champion. Congratulations. Young lady, 3rd up here. I know that's not much of a consolation prize, but I do want to recognize your ability. You're really good. So congratulations to everybody. What a great group of seniors.
Your champion senior showman goes to Estella Gover, and your reserve champion senior goes to Alyssa Costa. The Senior Champion Award was sponsored by Jim and Katie Weishauer, and our Reserve Champion Senior Showman Award was sponsored by Cody Cashman. Oops, back here. May not be worth a try to find out.
Surely everybody sells it.
Yeah, right. Okay, at this time we're going to start our intermediate showman, age 13. We do have a scratch in this class, so we should have 5 entries instead of 6. We should have Paige Bassler, Avery Becker,
Grayson Cromer, Tenley Epler, and Sophie Hant. Zeke Frock is a scratch. Class 10, intermediate showman age 13, make your way ringside. Atlee Hoy, Kylie Kaler, Madison Myers, Emma Shaw, and Jensen Wagner. Please make your way ringside.
All right, a little bit of a challenge, and again, maybe the sheep aren't broke quite as good as they need to be, and I think, and I understand it because I know when our boys were younger and we were showing, I had a hard time getting it through their heads. We have this tendency because we watch bigger, older sheep showmen, I think, to really pull on these sheep. And I want to suggest that instead of grabbing your sheep by the head and pulling them up on you, I want you to learn to get them set up and then lower your body. You got to do a lot of work from here down, okay, your waist down, get underneath your sheep, and then you can bring them up with your thigh and your knee. As you get bigger and stronger and your sheep is ready for you, then yeah, you can bump them a little bit to get them brought up. But I think what happens is right now none of these sheep are at that stage, and we start pulling and yanking on their head, and they start pulling back, and that's what I think is making the job awful difficult out here. So we don't really have a lamb that's really responded quite as quickly as I'm sure these exhibitors would like. Let's go back to some simple things, and I walked down the front. This young lady was a little more prepared for me than some of the others, and I like the way she was positioned herself off to the side of the sheep, and he's just been a little bit of an ornery rascal gets shown, and I understand that. I know we've talked about it already several times today. So I think there's a good showman there. We just don't really have a sheep that's really ready yet to be in the ring in terms of his responsibilities out here. Now, young lady, you've done a good job too. I think the one thing we want to work on is be a little quicker in the presentation when I go down the front of your sheep and where your feet need to be, shoulders width apart. We talked about that. I thought you got a pretty nice push out of him when I went to handle him. Again, you get his head up nicely. I like your hands. And the other thing I've warned a lot of you, don't grab the ears like a handlebar. Open your hands up a little bit more. Just I use the term a little softer in your hands, and I think sheep will appreciate that. They won't fight you quite as hard once they figure it out. So good job. Another good showman here, and just that sheep just bounces around all the time. You know, he just hasn't given you much of a fair chance. Now, you work really hard to keep his head up, and I appreciate that. He just needs to learn to have a little more endurance and stay put. So same with this ewe lamb here. She just kind of bounces around like a wiggle worm and makes the job pretty hard. We talked about all three of those showmen there to be a little more prepared when I walk down the front, and that's what we can work with on him. And then this weather here, he's an ornery rascal. He's got good wheels, so again, just a little better control on him would make the job a whole lot easier. Congratulations, another nice class winner here, and we get a good start in our intermediate division.
Results of Class 9, Intermediate Showman, age 13. First place, Paige Bassler. Second, Sophie Hampt. Third, Avery Becker. Fourth, Tenley Epler. Fifth, Grayson Cromer. Down your program, it goes 1, 3, 5, 4, scratch, 2. Entering the ring at this time, we have Class 10 Intermediate Showman, age 13. We should have 5 entries. Yep. We have Atlee Hoy, Kylie Kaler, Madison Myers, Emma Shaw, and Jensen Wagner. Class 11, Intermediate Showman, age 12. Please make your way ringside. Lloyd Arbaugh, Bridget Barber, Mackenzie Butler, Addie Collins, and Reese Smith. Also an announcement from our photographer. Photos from the Beef Heifer Show this morning are now uploaded on KAZphotography.smugmug.com. Again, Beef Heifer Show photos are now uploaded on KAZphotography.smugmug.com. If you need that website, please see me up here and I can get that spelled out for you.
it's been interesting in showmanship how, you know, sometimes it just comes in waves of good showmen. There are really good showmen in this class. In fact, I've told all three of the young ladies we're going to bring all three of them back for the final runoff because I think they deserve to be asked back. I think all three of them could have been equally as competitive in the senior division. That's what I think of them as showmen. They're really good. And I've been trying to preach and talk about body placement, where you need to be, the presentation of your sheep. And if you don't quite understand what I'm talking about, this would be a good time to come up along ringside when we have this intermediate runoff and watch these three young ladies and just the way they conduct business out here. All three of them are very good. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time discussing what they've done right or wrong. They've done a lot of things really right, okay? So you three, I'll see you back here in a few minutes. Keep up the good work. You're all three very, very good showmen. Had a lot of fun with this young lady here in fourth, and again, really good. We want to move a little bit more to the front. I wasn't scolding her for being late. She thought I was, but we were having a lot of fun. You weren't really late. Nothing had happened until you got out here. So, but a good job. We just need to work a little quicker and move your body a little bit more to the front. I think it would be really good if you get the chance to come back and watch our final runoff here in this division and watch the people you had to compete against, because I think they do set a very good example of what we kind of look for here in sheep showmanship. The downside, we talked about showing these baby dolls. That's a long ways down there. When you're as tall as that young lady, if they want to go, they're going to go. And so, again, just the fact that she got away from me is a little bit of a disadvantage in your regards. And it's hard when you're that tall to make things look pretty easy to show a sheep that is small like that. But you know what? I appreciate your effort. I think that's what it's all about. Congratulations to all five. This is a really good group of showmen, and especially this trio up here on the top end. Please give them a nice hand. They deserve it. Great group.
The results of Class 10 intermediate showman age 13. First place, Madison Myers. Second, Atlee Boyd. Third,
We're moving through our showmanship show, and we've concluded our senior division. And so we have the winner of that senior division with us here, Estella Gover. So first of all, Estella, congratulations. How do you feel?
Thank you. I am kind of like, it's still kind of settling in. I was kind of like, walked out, I was like, I won. But it's great. I've been really working for this for a while, like getting the sheep showmanship thing down, especially in the senior division. So I'm pretty ecstatic.
Smith. Class 12, intermediate showman, age 11. Please make your way ringside. Haley Becker, Brady Cromer, Mason Frock, Eliza Hockheiser, and Isaac Marble. Please make your way ringside.
And so the way the senior drive unfolded, maybe it was a little unorthodox for people who are used to watching our show. And so explain a little bit about how the judge handled it.
Yes, so normally in our class,
they'll first and second, and they'll bring it back, rather just the first places or first and second, and they'll line them up first in the beginning, and then second place will follow kind of behind them. So if this is your first place line, your second place line comes in behind them. And usually your champion is picked out of your first place. But the judge today, I mean, he placed the classes definitely, but didn't give a definite first and second in the class. So I technically, I guess, came in second in my everybody out into one continuous line. So first and second from all 6 divisions were in contention for Grand and Reserve. So we kind of worked through the division and pulled 3 of us out. So me and the girl who I guess won in my class, and one of the other young ladies from one of the later classes, and pulled us kind of out separately, and then had everybody file in between us. So we were kind of at the head of the line, and he definitely worked us. And you know, like, we were all very confused. We're like, because I was like, oh, I didn't like win my class technically. I was very, very confused, honestly. But you know, I just like kept showing. I was like, I'm just gonna show like I won my class, and just kind of like put all my into it. So, like I said, he pulled us out. There was a girl in front of me, and then the girl who technically won my class behind me. And he definitely really worked through us the most because we were in his contention. So I ended up winning the division. It's a very close second, or honestly, it was a very close altogether with all 3 of us.
Yeah,
and
it really
the girls
was.
that ended up behind me, unfortunately, they were both really, really good too. But you know, we're all good friends, and it was all in good spirit. So I'm excited for what's next for it.
It was a really exciting drive. Well, good luck the rest of the way. Thanks so much for hanging out with us.
Thank you. You guys too.
All right, nice job. Young man does an excellent job on the presentation part. Boy, he gets that weather stuck out here, and neck up, head up, really good. He's the quickest to getting it done. Just a good combination here of a good sheep, good showman, getting the job done the way it needs to be. The next 2 young ladies, they just have to wrestle a little bit more. And again, it's one of those things, the sheep just aren't quite as respondent as the first one is here. I like where you're at, and especially young lady here that ends up in second. I think she's done kind of the little things a little quicker, a little more right. The sheep just not quite as quick to catch on as the young man was out here. The young lady here in third is a good example where we've just done a couple, 3 little things, and where your hand placement is, and you're getting it. I like that, okay? I take that home and work with it. It'll come. You know, it's a little awkward at first, but I just like the fact that you're like a sponge out here. I give you 2 or 3 things to work on, and you're trying it. I really, really appreciate that. He's just a little hard out here to get to settle down. Young lady, you do a good job, too. We talked about working on it at home, getting the sheep to brace up a little bit more. You do a really good job keeping his head up. You've been pretty good about his feet and legs. We just want to get a little bit more out of that sheep when I get my hands on him. And I like it better when you're out front. We talked about that here with our next showman is we get him on the profile. I want to see more of the sheep and less of you. So that means we need to do a little bit more of our work up front instead of kind of off the side here. But you got a good working relationship. That sheep's got a good brace to him, okay? And I noticed over here he was really pushing into you. So lighten up just a little bit, okay? If he really starts to push really, really hard, we just need to kind of relax, let him settle down, and then get him set back up. But good job. It was a nice class. Y'all worked very hard out here.
Results of our intermediate class showman age 12. First place, Lloyd Arbaugh. Second,
Bridget Barber. Third, Reese Smith. Fourth, Addie Collins. And fifth, Mackenzie Butler. Down your program, it'll go 1, flip the page, go 2, 5, 4, and 3. At this time in the ring is our Class 12 intermediate showman, age 11. We should have 5 entries. I see 3. Chuck, we're looking for 2 entries yet. Mason Frock we're looking for. And Isaac Marble. Mason Frock and Isaac Marble. I think I... No, Isaac. Okay, Chuck, this class is now complete. So in the ring, we should have Haley Becker, Brady Cromer, Mason Frock, Eliza Hockheiser, and Isaac Marble is a scratch. Class 13, intermediate showman, age 11. Please make your way ringside. Luke Myers, Trinity Peck, Wade A. Smith, Tuck Stamball, Elliot Weishower. Please make your way ringside.
This young lady's doing a very nice job, and especially when the sheep's working for you, spot on and getting him set up and presented. When I walked down the front, she did it the most correctly, the way I like to see it done. She was ready for me when I got there. So really good. Now the weather, he has his moments when he's not real cooperative, and he maybe doesn't want to lead quite as nicely as he needs to. But when he does his job, everything looks good. You're doing your job right. We just get a little bit more out of the sheep. Young lady here with this ewe lamb, you guys are at your best when you're on your walk. You know, know, you do a really good job leading her around here, and she responds really good to you. Again, maybe not quite as quick to get her put together, and she's kind of got the jumps and a little harder to get done, and maybe not quite as quickly as our showman that's going to win the class, but I thought you did the best job when we put them on the lead. And really the next two ewe lambs, the showmen, they're hard to get show. You know, they're kind of bouncing around on us, and so we talked about the importance of feet and legs. And again, when the judge walks around front, make sure you get peeled off and kind of get yourself situated right, as well as the front feet of your ewe lambs. So good job, everybody. Another very nice class winner, and we're going to have a good runoff again in this intermediate division. Nice job.
Results of Class 12, Intermediate Showman, age 11. First place to Haley Becker. Second, Eliza Hockheiser. Third, Brady Cromer. And fourth, Mason Fruck. Down your program, it goes 1, 3, 4, 2, and scratch. In the ring at this time, we'll have Class 13, Intermediate Showman, age 11. We should have 5 entries. We should have Luke Myers, Trinity Peck, Wade A. Smith, Tuck Stanball, and Elliot Weishauer. At the completion of this class, we'll pick our champion and reserve champion Intermediate Showman. Reminder to all your intermediates, first and second place in the class will come in together when we pick our champion and reserve champion. Also, I've been asked to make an announcement. Behind the arena, outside of the kitchen area, there is a trailer that just unloaded pigs. That trailer needs to be moved immediately. If you have a trailer out back and you just unloaded swine at the check-in area, that trailer needs to be moved immediately. Thank you.
right. Thank you, ring help. I didn't want anybody getting hurt. That rascal weighs as much as she does, and wasn't any sense of fighting it out here. Another good group, and these two young men here on the top end are really good. In fact, the young man that ends up in second, he come through that gate. You could feel the intensity that he has, and he's out here to compete at a very high level. And maybe it's been a little bit work to his disadvantage. We just get to working a little too fast, a little too quick, okay? That's what I like about our showman that wins our class here, just a little steadier, a little easier. Again, everything kind of comes together a little quicker, more naturally for you. Good presentation of the sheep. Everything he does, I think, is really just spot on. And I do like a lot of things about our showman here in second. He's just kind of got to the point here where he's starting to kind of wrestle that ewe a little bit more, but he has a lot of the same skills of our young man that's going to win the class. It maybe just hasn't come quite as quickly for him and that ewe out here in showmanship. Really, the next three have been just a bit more of a challenge to get shown. They want to kind of bounce around. Of course, the weather here, he's ready to go back to the pen and get something to eat instead of out here in showmanship. So keep up the hard work. It is hard work. You all know that. But I will say this species here, the harder we work at home, the easier it becomes when we get them out here at the show. So don't give up. You just got to kind of put a little more effort into it back at the house before we show up to the fair. Again, let's give them a nice hand. Two really good showmen here on the top end that'll make this division really pretty special.
Results of Class 13, Intermediate Showman, age 11. First place, Elliot Weishauer. Second, Luke Myers. Third, Wade A. Smith. Fourth, Tuck Stamball. And fifth, Trinity Peck. Down your program, it goes 2, 5, 3, 4, and 1. Now, at this time, we're going to pick our champion and reserve champion intermediate showman. So at this time, I need the following people in the ring. Out of Class 1, your first place winner, Paige Bassler. Second place, Sophie Hampt. Out of Class 2, we need 3 individuals. We should have Madison Myers, Atlee Hoy, and Kylie Kaler. Out of Class 3, we should have Lloyd Arbaugh and Bridget Barber. Out of Class 4, we should have Haley Becker and Eliza Hockheiser. And out of Class 5, we should have Elliot Weishauer and Luke Myers. Huh? Wait a minute. Here comes Lloyd. Okay. Where's my 3? That's my 3 there, right? No, that's okay. That's 1. That's 2. Lloyd should be in the 3.
How many more need to be out here?
Okay, just a few things I want to show you. This showman here is outstanding in my opinion, okay? And what makes her so good, and I've talked a lot about this today, is she's got soft hands, okay? She don't have this sheep by the ears, okay? Look where her hands are placed, how she's got it where she can still control the head. I don't know if this sheep is 100% all the time getting things done, but she takes her time. She doesn't get in a big hurry. And the thing that I really want you to watch is when she gets her propped and set up, she just very gently gets up underneath her sheep, okay? Once she gets under, then she can bounce her a little bit to get her kind of alert, but she's not pulling on the head. And this is so hard for us to all understand, okay? I always told my boys when they were showing, when they were little, I said, you go at the ring and you watch. You watch the seniors, you watch people, and you find out what it takes to be at that level to be the best, okay? And they spent a lot of time ringside and just looking and listening. And I wanted to take this opportunity because I've talked a lot about how to use your hands, your body placement, how to work around your sheep up front, and she does it at a very, very high level, okay? I don't know anything about this young lady. I don't know if she's ever shown sheep before in her life. I don't care. She's dang good at it right now, okay? So what I want to encourage you guys to do is to kind of watch her, emulate her, okay? Work on things at home, but just understand that she doesn't get in a real big hurry and she's just not wrestling her sheep, okay? She's making it look pretty daggone easy. So nice job. I'm going to brag on you. You're doing a good job. You're handling it well, okay, as I expect you would. So, and I even hope our seniors are up here watching it because I think, again, she just exemplifies, what sheep showmanship needs to look like and make it look easy. Now, I will promise you, this is not the first time she's grabbed a hold of this shoe to do this, okay? It takes a lot of work at home. I know because as I shared with you probably in the first class, it is a proven fact that of the animal science species that we study at Kansas State, this is the least intelligent one, okay? They don't catch on very quick. So this is something where, and I'm sure this young lady has, but there's been a lot of work put at home to get this shoe to show like she does. All right, you've done a great job. Pull back up here in line. We're going to walk them one more time. We're going to pick you some champions. I probably let the cat out of the bag who's doing the best job. So don't let her get away. Okay, you can still get beat, but I wanted to show what I think a good showman looks like here in this species. Hey, sweetheart, go ahead and just pull up to the front, okay? Yeah, that'll give everybody some more room. Okay, let's go another half a lap. Okay, we'll prop them up over your head to tail one more time. Thank you. All right, really nice. Intermediates, incredibly good. I spoke with a few of these up here. This was kind of my top enders I wanted to give another serious look at, and they are all really spot on. These first three in particular, and you can see with from this angle here, they do such a nice job getting their neck pulled up out of their blade. They keep their tops right, the presentation of the sheep. You know, honestly, it doesn't matter what species we talk about. That's what showmanship is about. It's about, first of all, taking care of your animal and making them look their best, and then you got to take care of yourself and do your job. And so these three, I thought, up on the top end did really good. I told the two young ladies, they came out of a class that was really, really good, those three. I'd like for that spec to give us a bit more of a push or a brace, and if he's not doing it and he's kind of a softy, we can still get under him and bring his top up just a little bit on the profile so it doesn't look so easy. I thought the young lady with the ewe lamb, her hand placement where she is up front is as good as our young lady up here on top. We got in a bit of a pickle over here. We were side by side. That sheep got really out of line too much and just kind of let the sheep take over the job and not you keeping control of it. But she's done, I thought, the last 4 or 5 minutes here, an excellent job in the presentation of that one from the side. So a lot of you are doing good. You know, again, I think it's just kind of some little things. A lot of it's body language, the way we work around our sheep that we want to get up here at this top end of the class. But I thought this group was as strong as any as you'll find anywhere around the country. To no surprise, our champion's up here on top. Congratulations to her. The young man that has the weather here in second, I said we want to loosen up just a little bit on his head and his ears. You've done a great job outside of that. He'll be our reserve champion. Congratulations. Excellent job by all of our showmen.
Your champion intermediate showman goes to Madison Myers. That award sponsored by K. Wagner, DVM, North Carroll Veterinary Services Incorporated. Your reserve champion intermediate showman goes to Lloyd Arbaugh, and that award sponsored by the Ziegler family, Quarry View Acres. At this time in the ring, we'll have our class number 16, our first class of junior showmen, age 10. We should have 5 entries. We should have Luke Brower, Jonathan Lane Durr, Audrey Hockheiser, Harper McGrath, and Violet Miller. Class 17, junior showman, age 10. You should be making your way ringside. Corey Ratcliffe, Veda Redding, Allison V. Wagner, and Mackenzie Weaver. Make your way ringside.
All right, these young people are sweating bullets. So I always, back when we were 4-H parents, I always remember people saying, show a sheep. It's a great project for young kids. And we showed sheep. Our boys were 7, and they started showing sheep. And my oldest son, he showed for a couple years. He will never, ever do it again. Every night we'd get the sheep out of the barn, we'd work them, we'd exercise them, and we had a blue heeler dog, and he was pretty aggressive. And the boys were leading their sheep around the yard, and the blue heeler happened to grab the hock of one of the sheep, and that sheep jumped on top of Shane and pinned his ears to the ground. And from then on, he never had any love for sheep. So I'm just telling you, this is maybe not the best project for young kids because they're hard to work with, you know, and it takes a while for them to catch on. So, and I think all of you kind of feel that same struggle. You know, they've not been easy to show out here, and there's some little things in showmanship that we maybe have worked on. I did thank the young lady here with the blue U. You did the best job in getting your sheep to set up and get them presented out here, and that's what we're out here to do. So, you know, little things, all of you, we talked about when the judge walks down the front, let's make sure to get a little more prepared for that person to see the front end of your animal. But once we got him out here head to tail, I thought she did a very, very nice job. And that's kind of how I kind of sorted him out here. A young man I thought did the second best. Young lady, you do a good job. Sheep want to walk, and you know, he just kind of wants to lock up on you, so we want to get him to move a little bit better. But that's kind of the big thing. Another thing too, at this age and today, you'll find at every major sheep show, a lot of them are being shown with halters. Okay, it's not a crime like it used to be. So there are some sheep, and I know for us personally, our families are still doing it. They show better on a halter because that's what they're used to. It seems like when my niece grabs the head with her hand, they don't want to respond, but if they have a halter on, they do just fine. So don't think it's a crime that if you have to show with a halter. There's plenty of show halters to do that. So, all right, let's give them all a nice hand. Young lady, we're going to see you here in a few minutes for our championship drive here in our junior division.
Results of Class 16, Junior Showman age 10. First place, Violet Miller. Second, Luke Brower. Third, Audrey Hockheiser. Fourth, Jonathan Lane Durr. And fifth, Harper McGrath. Down your program, it goes 2, 4, 3, 5, and 1. In the ring at this time, we should have Class 17, Junior Showman, age 10. 4 entries. Corey Radcliffe, Veda Redding, Allison V. Wagner, and Mackenzie Weaver. Class 18, Junior Showman, age 9. Please make your way ringside. Hunter Gross, Lorelei Masamore, Cade Stamball, and Caroline Worley. Please make your way ringside. Okay, while we're judging this class, I have a few announcements. Tonight on the hill in Burns Hall is pasta night. Okay, pasta night in Burns Hall. And just a tidbit, it is air conditioned. And they'll be serving the pasta till 9:30. Also, 2 things going on with some of our alumni and also some of our All-Stars. The first thing, All-Star Showmanship. All-Star Showmanship will take place Friday morning. All 2025 Grand Champion Livestock Showmen have the opportunity to compete. Again, All-Star Showmanship, Friday morning. All 2025 Grand Champion Livestock Showmen have the opportunity to compete. Also, Alumni Showmanship will take place here
following the market show. Alumni Showmanship will take place following the market show. It is $20 to enter. If you get nominated and you want to take your name off, it costs you a measly $100. So that's not bad, $100. So you might as well just stay in it. This is a fundraiser for the Junior Fair Board that puts on several events throughout the week. Starting at 6:30 tonight, the gentleman will be to my left at the tables next to the announcer stand, and they will start taking entries for the Alumni Showmanship. Again, $20 to enter. If you get nominated, it's $100 to take your name off the list.
Another one of those very, very competitive classes. These first two just a little quicker to get some response out of their sheep and get them set up and put together, and it's going to be fun. I kind of warned our seniors, you guys are placed first and second right now in this class, but as we come back out here for the final deal, that doesn't have any water. We're just starting all over, okay? So this pair, I think, could be swapped at any given time. They both have done a nice job. I just feel like our showman right now that wins the class is a little more right in getting the neck up out of her weather's shoulder, the front third of the positioning of him, and so, but both of them have had really a lot of success out here. I thought about it, really a point in time here, the young lady with the blue weather, maybe having you come back, but he's just getting to where he's starting to fight you just a little bit more, okay? I think when you get things put together, you do a really nice job with him, but he's wanting to kind of duck out and away from you and doesn't keep his ground quite as good as he needs to, but I like a lot of things that you've done out here. And the young lady here with this other weather, again, she's had to work her tail off a lot harder than the others. He's got that serious grasshopper disease, and I appreciate the effort, and you still got a smile. That's what I like about it. So congratulations to you. Let's give them a nice hand. These four young ladies are really good here in sheep showmanship.
Results of Class 17, Junior Showman age 10. First place, Allison V. Wagner. Second, Mackenzie Weaver. Third, Veda Redding. Fourth, Corey Radcliffe. Down your program, it goes 4, 3, 1, 2. Entering the ring at this time is Class 18, Junior Showman, age 9. Hunter Gross, Lorelei Masamore, Cade Stamball, Caroline Worley. Class 19, Junior Showman, age 9, make your way ringside. Madeline Dell, Sadie Frock, Weston Huff, Miles Sliegel. Make your way ringside.
All right. Young lady here with our South Down Weather, a nice job, solid job, and we talked to all four of them about getting in the right position here when you walk down the front, and you were kind of getting it. We just want to get your feet squared up a little bit better. You've had the best luck with getting your weather to kind of respond, so congratulations. You're going to be our class winner out here. We'll see you in a couple of minutes. I think for second, I had in my mind what was going to happen, and then the young lady kind of let that weather get away. But he was pretty easy to get caught back up. You do a really nice job getting the neck up out of his shoulder, the presentation of him from the side. I think that's where you're really strong, and that's where you might excel. Our showman here in third, he stays a little leveler in his spine and just put together better from the side. So, again, we had that little mishap here where he kind of got away from her. We have to work pretty hard with the ewe-lamb, and I think I would encourage you, partner, to kind of work on keeping her top down just a little bit, gets a little roached up in her top, so that would be something we want to watch out. And then our showman here on the end, that one you had to work really hard. You know what? It was just off to a rough start when you came through the gate and you tripped. You know, everything just kind of was a spiral after that. So again, I appreciate your effort. I appreciate the fact you're still smiling, so keep up the good work, and again, just put a little more effort into it back home before you get to the fair. All right, congratulations. We'll see y'all here in a couple minutes.
Results of Class 18, Junior Showman, age 9. First place, Caroline Worley. Second, Mesa Moore. Third, Kate Stanton.
So we're continuing to meet some of our special kids this evening, and we're here with our intermediate champion showman, Madison Myers. And Maddie, the judge pulled you out and had a lot of really great things to say about you. That had to feel pretty special.
Yeah, that was wow. I mean, I've never seen that, had that happen. It's incredibly an honor, incredibly amazing, everything.
And so you did an amazing job. And you do a lot of the little things right. One of the things the judge was talking about is how you use your hands around the sheep's head.
Yes.
Can you describe that a little bit and what you're trying to do with the way that you do use your hands?
So we call it pistol fingers. You basically take your fingers like this, and you want to have your like two smaller fingers underneath their jaw. So as you're turned on them, you want to have your thumb almost in front of their eye, and then I sometimes make a fist on the other side to make it a little more comfortable on my wrist. And you also want to have a light hold, because if it's too strong, sometimes you can actually like make the lamb freak out even more. So enough that you can keep control, but you also want to be gentle and like show the lamb respect itself. So.
And so that's a really great example that we're not just taking an animal and leading it around. There really is a skill and a strategy to how you go about things. Well, we certainly wish you luck the rest of the way. We know there's more competition to come, and best of luck. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thank you.
Just an update on our alumni showmanship. The gentlemen will be over here at the tables once we get ready to start the market show for the lambs. So once the showmanship is complete, we get ready to start market. They'll be to my left, and I'll let you know when they're ready to get started.
Well, I'll be honest, I didn't know that it was going to exactly turn out like this. I want to tell the young man, you were doing a great job. Your sheep caught you napping is what happened. You were going down there and everything was going good, and he seized the moment of getting away from you. So that's just one of them things that you just got to be ready, you know. But, hey, I'm going to tell you, next time I bet you're on this end of the class, okay? You're a good showman. You're a good showman. We just had a little bit of a mishap out here today with that weather getting away. So, young lady, you come in this gate pretty intense, all right? You and I made eye contact. I could tell we're in here to play hardball. This ain't no little softy game for me. So I like that. You did work hard. The sheep's been a little bit of a challenge for you, but that's okay. I like the eye contact. I like the effort. I think when the sheep works for you, you do a very good job. And, again, you have to work a little harder than maybe what's necessary. But good job. Our young lady here in second, also a nice job. I think we're maybe putting a little bit too much of a bear hug on that one, okay? Loosen your hands up a little bit. I prefer we not really grab it around the neck and get that old death grip around his neck, okay? So we can work on that at home. Again, the ewe has done a pretty nice job for you for the most part in getting her shown. Little things here as far as getting our next ewe lamb to set up is kind of the big thing, and maybe your body positioning. I like you be a little bit more out front if we could, but she's done a pretty nice job for you. And again, partner, you're a good showman. I hate it. But that's part of sheep showmanship. You know, there's always some rules that we just can't break, and when they get away from you, that happens to be a pretty big rule in sheep showmanship. So good job, though. Let's give them all a nice hand. Congratulations to all of you.
Results of Class 19 Junior Showman age 9. First place, Madeline Dell. Second, Sadie Frock. Third, Miles Siegel. Fourth, Weston Huff. Down your program, it goes 1, 2, 4, and 3. At this time, this is our final class of Junior Showman, age 8. We have 6 entries. In the ring, we should have Delilah Barber, Oakley Giles, Reed Stamball, Brooklyn Wagner, Charlie Weaver, and Elizabeth Worley. At the conclusion of this class, we'll pick our champion and reserve champion Junior Showman.
Very nice. Our young man, you know what, partner? You are dressed for success. You got your tie working, and you're doing a good job with your sheep. Of the group, when I walked down the front, he was ready for me. He was the only one that kind of got around the front and did it right, and so I can get a good look at his ewe lamb. So I did a lot of things very nicely out here. He got a little squeezed up, and I don't know that it was necessarily your fault. I think the ewe behind you kind of crowd you up just a little bit. So I think that's the one thing that we want to make sure that you all understand is we walk around, we get ready to put them in the profile, give yourself plenty of room to work, and that way we won't crowd each other out just a little bit. Young lady here with the south down weather, very nice job. And he looks so much better when you're able to get his neck up out of his shoulder. I wish when I walk down the front, be prepared for me, get off the side so we can see the front of your weather, but outside of that, you've done a lot of things just really, really nice. The next four, they have moments. They can each be shuffled around from third to, to whatever here in this lineup. I just tried to kind of get it to where they did the best job in getting them set up and keeping the head up. That's kind of the biggest thing. I think a lot of you is probably more of your body placement and where you're at as far as around your sheep. And the other thing, too, as the judge walks down the front, I didn't quite explain it to you all like we have in some of the classes. Make sure that you get off the side so they can see that your sheep's front end. So nice job. Let's give these two young people a good hand here. It's a good way to work into these juniors. They do a nice job.
Results of Class 20, Junior Showman, age 8. First place, Charlie Weaver. Second, Elizabeth Worley. Third, Oakley Giles. Fourth, Delilah Barber. Fifth, Reed Stamball. And sixth, Brooklyn Wagner. Down your program, it goes 4, 3, 5, 6, 1, and 3. Now at this time, we're going to pick our champion and reserve champion, Junior Showman. Out of Class 1, Violet Miller, Luke Brower. Out of Class 2, Allison V. Wagner and Mackenzie Weaver. Out of Class 3, Caroline Worley and Lorelei Masamore. Out of Class 4, Madeline Dell and Sadie Frock. And out of Class 5, Charlie Weaver and Elizabeth Worley. At the conclusion of picking our champion and reserve champion, Junior Showman, we will then pick our grand champion showman and reserve grand champion showman. And then following that, we will pick our champion of champions, which will be this year's grand champion and previous grand champions.
How about these juniors? They're all right, aren't they? Let's give them a nice hand. These young kids are doing a good job, and as we discussed earlier, I don't know that this is the best sheep project or the best project for young kids because they are cumbersome to work with. Takes a lot of effort to get out here and play at this level. And there's really probably the biggest comment I would make for all of you is just be really aware of feet and legs and getting the neck up out of their shoulder. And I know at your weight and your age, that's sometimes asking an awful lot. I get that. And really, we get everybody out here. I don't know there's a great big difference in skill level from one end to the other. I think they're all pretty comparable to one another. It kind of comes back to the two young ladies that were in the same class together. I think they're the ones that are just a little better at getting things put together, a little quicker at doing it. Like them both just a little bit better as we put them on the walk out here. The little things we ask of them, I thought they were just a bit more efficient. And there's kind of give and takes. There's a minute when one of them's got one set up better than the other. But I think for the most part, both of them have done an exceptionally good job. So with that being said, young lady, I think you won the class, if I remember right. And lucky enough for you, you're going to also win our junior showmanship. Let's pull her out here as our champion. Your classmate right in behind her here is going to be our reserve overall. So let's give both these young ladies a nice hand. Great job out here in our junior showmanship.
Your champion, junior showman, goes to Allison V. Wagner. That award sponsored by David and Michelle Parrish. And your reserve champion, junior showman, goes to Mackenzie Weaver. And that award sponsored by GNL Excavating. Again, thank you to all of the sponsors for tonight's awards. At this time, we're going to pick our grand champion showman. And then we'll pick our reserve grand champion showman. So in the ring at this time in our senior division, we need Estella Gover and Alyssa Costa. Out of our intermediate division, we need Madison Myers and Lloyd Arbaugh. And out of our junior division, we need Allison V. Wagner and Mackenzie Weaver. Once our grand champion and reserve grand champion are selected, we will then go to our final class in showman, which will be champion of champions. And at this time, that would include Hunter Huff and this year's grand champion. Also in our champion of champions, we will be looking for Taryn Runshaw.
Well, we took a lot of time in showmanship. I think it's important. It's not an easy job. Honestly, I dread judging showmanship because I, as an old show parent, just like you all, we as parents, we watch what's going on out here in the ring, and unfortunately, the judge has two eyes, okay, and we don't have eyes back here. So we always see things that everybody else's kids did wrong, and we can always say, well, this or that in showmanship. And it's very subjective. I think the one thing, no matter what species we talk about in showmanship, every judge has a different style that they may like or different approach to their job out here. And for me, I've always tried to keep it simple. Rule number one is it's presentation of the animal first. So we don't all have the best sheep to show. Some of them have some little things we got to deal with and try to get them to look their best. But your job is to make that animal look as absolutely as good as we can. Now, once you have that accomplished, then I think it's important to make the job look easy. That's the hard part, because showing sheep, showing livestock in general is challenging, but I think a very relaxed, comfortable approach makes it look easy, okay? And I think that's a key part of it as well. So I just try to keep it pretty simple, and I think, again, there's some little things that make this showman just a little more unique than the others. Their approach to the craft out here, they're very good at it, and I think it helps too. This showman's got one of the better sheep to kind of make things look right. So I ask that we give all 6 of them a nice hand. We'll go out and select the one that tends to be my favorite today. What a pleasure to work through such a great young people out here in showmanship. Young lady, you're going to be our overall champion. Congratulations to you. Job well done. You betcha. Good job. You're going to be our reserve champion. Congratulations. Yep, good job. Good job.
Your grand champion showman goes to Madison Myers. That award sponsored by Dawn's Shear Style. And your reserve grand champion showman goes to Estella Gover. That award sponsored by Ripple Creek Farm Lambs. Now, at this time, we're going to have our champion of champions. And what this is, we're going to bring back our grand champion showman from this year, and that individual will compete against previous grand champion showmen. If they have been in the ring before, in the champion and champions, and have won it, then they no longer compete. So tonight we should have 3 in the ring. Madison Myers, your 2025 Grand Champion Showman, and then previous Grand Champion Showman Taryn Runshaw and Hunter Huff.
I'm sure under your breath you're thinking that judge is one a-hole, right? You can say it. But you know what? To me, this is a lot of fun, and it's been interesting. And I don't know if we finally wore the blackface out, or the blackface is finally figuring out that we have to walk when we get out here. But it's been interesting that the poor young lady, she gets him first. We like to never got him around the ring, and now he's kind of got it figured out, and he's kind of getting himself presented. So, you know, this is one of those deals where I could tell pretty quick when they came in the ring, it ain't going to be an easy task, especially when they're showing good sheep of their own. Let's figure out how good they really are and let them show somebody else's. It's maybe not quite as easy to show. So our young lady on top, I'm going to just say you're a perfectionist, okay? I can sense that. And again, sometimes we have to understand our client that we're working with out here, and he is not a perfectionist, okay? You're wanting to move that hind leg a half an inch, and I think probably what we want to try to do is to get him pretty close. And I've always argued with my boys, you know, in the world of horseshoes, getting close is worth points, and same within showmanship. When they act like that, we just want to get them close. But I do like, again, your hands and the way you're able to collect his top and use them really good. You had the unfortunate experience of trying to get that blackface around the ring, and I don't know if he's just kind of figured it out or not, but he's doing a much better job. But you are no doubt a top-notch showman. It just got a little bit more of a challenge when we put him in front of you. Young lady, I don't know if today's your lucky day or if you are just naturally good at this, but there's something that clicks for you today. And as we put you on that sheep right there, he just acts like he knows what's going on, you know. And again, on the lead, you've been really good with him. He's not been perfect every step, but you've had the ability to keep him on the go. We get him stopped. You've worked very efficiently in getting him put together out here. And I'll just be honest, some people have a knack for this, okay? And I think you just happen to be one of those people that you get it. It's a feel, you know, it's a feel, and I think you get it very well. I was a little worried about the young man because right off the bat, when we give you that white face, I thought he was going to get away from you. But you got quick hands, okay? You'd be a good linebacker, I think, because of your hand speed. So, again, a nice job, really good. It seems like both times we've kind of put you on one that's been a little bit more challenging, and it's taken just a little bit more to kind of get things gathered up. But what a lot of fun. This is really a unique thing. I've never been a part of something quite like this where we bring back a champion. But again, you know, as I sit out here and watch the three, and like I've already said, whether she's just daggone lucky today or she is that good at it, I still think our past champion that won a few minutes ago has just put a whooping on everybody today. Let's give her a nice hand. She's going to win this overall deal. Congratulations.
And your champion of champions goes to Madison Myers. This concludes the showmanship part for this evening. We're going to get organized here a little bit, give the judge a little bit of time to refresh up here, and we're going to get ready to start then the market show. Okay, the committee has come with a decision. So the market show will start at 7:30. And exhibitors, heads up. The judge has advised that we took a lot of time in the showmanship part. Market's not going to take that kind of time. Okay, so just keep that in mind as you get ready to come in the ring. Have your lamb ready to go. He's going to put him in here. He's going to take a look. And we're going to move forward. 7:30 is our start time.
So our showmanship is over, but we haven't had a chance to talk to our champion junior showman, and so we welcome Allie Wagner. Allie, congratulations. How do you feel about winning?
Pretty good.
So we had a chance to talk off camera and said, you've maybe not won anything like this before. This is the first time for you, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't expect to win because there was also this other girl named Madison Myers. She's also a pretty good showman. I thought I might get like second place, not first.
So you've worked really hard to handle a sheep that's pretty big. What's the hardest part about showing sheep?
I'd say probably trying to get their feet to stay set because they keep wanting to move.
And what's one thing you need to work on to keep getting better?
Probably to keep their feet in place and walk them more.
Wow, you did a great job.
I was kind of just lucky with this lamb.
Wow, you did a great job today. Congratulations and good luck in the future.